Alright everyone, due to popular demand, part 3 of my book collection. Keep in mind that after I go through these ones, that's probably not even 10% of the actual collection. I like books. We're going to start off with one that's very, very special, and actually I had lost it for a while. I didn't know where it was. Finally refound it, and I'm very excited about this one, because I've mentioned it in several videos. The Book of Common Prayer. Yes, indeed. This is effectively a series of hymnals and religious poetry and things like that, commentary on different spiritual topics. This is an extremely important work, and everyone should have a copy if you're a Christian. This was conceived of as about as important as the Holy Bible by low church Christians. I've talked about the dynamic. High church Christianity is ritualism, stained glass and robes and stuff like that. Low churchism was the idea that you prayed your conscience and stuff like that. Your local pastor or reverend was really more of just a general authority figure than actually a religious authority, if that makes sense. So the low church movement is very fascinating, and I happen to support it. If you're going to be a Christian, the low church movement really makes more sense. It's more about charity and civility than it is about giving your money to some church to build another mega church or something like that. So this was my grandfather's, and so it's near and dear to me. This one's from the 70s, I think. He didn't really go to church, but he did pray and so forth. He was a Christian. I think this is an Episcopal work specifically. So it's like a non-ritualistic offshoot, basically. Anti-Catholicism in a way as well. This is a fun one. Legion 49 by Barry Hale. This was given to me by one of those Temple of Blood sect members, actually. And it's filled with various interesting illustrations. A snake with 6 feet. Its head is like that of an enormous ferret, and the eyes very red. It's basically a demonological work. Good luck finding a fucking copy that's under several $100, by the way. I was really, really pleased when I got that. Now, this is another thing from my grandfather. The Survival of the Bark Canoe by McPhee. And it's, talking about native lore and stuff like that. For some reason, he had 4 or 5 works by about the same title. But they're not by the same author. There was a spate of people doing like the Romanticist thing in the atomic era and writing books on this basic topic. And he had pretty much all of them. He military history and that and forestry. My grandfather's collection, he had hundreds and hundreds of volumes. He had Foxfire and engineering works and stuff like that. I wish I could show them all off, but then I'd have to do like an hour-long video. And yeah, that would be a thing. Another one. This is from when he was a kid. Actually, it might even have been his father's. I'm not 100% sure. Navy Boys Behind the Big Guns. Yeah. This is like a World War I era book. What year exactly is this? Actually, it might be before that. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, 1919. There were a bunch of books that were written, especially by Davidson at that time, about like the Boy Scouts and the Navy Boys and stuff like that, the sort of brotherhood books of the era. And they're fascinating. You should try to get some. I think that they've reprinted most of them, so you can get like a modern copy. The older ones, mostly, this one's in great condition. It's been scribbled on a little bit by my grandfather, I think, if you see. But generally speaking, they're kind of falling apart, actually, so it's a big problem. Forests for the Future. Conservationism. Real conservationism. Not that NIMBYist bullshit. The story of sustained yield is told in the diaries and papers of David Mason, edited by Rodney Lore. And there's some cool pictures in there. Got to treat these older books a little bit more kindly than the modern ones, because sometimes they get a little bit dry and start falling apart. Black Nazis by Veronika Kuzniar, who I've actually talked to, actually. Great work. The idea is, of course, that the Nazis actually had black legions in North Africa, especially parts of the Middle East, actually were rather cosmopolitan with regards to recruiting, especially towards the end, because they wanted to reorder the map, so to speak. And some people have called me a Nazi for even having a copy of this. It is not a pro-Nazi work, but that's the point. Actually, there was an explanatory second one that I showed off the other day. It has to do, basically, with the cosmopolitan nature of military lore more than anything else. So, excellent work, actually. Again, try and find a fucking copy of that. The Hitler Warship Cult. Distortion, Justification, and Myth-Making. Bernie Sanders and Trump happen to be on there, by the way, again by Kuzniar. Excellent work overall. It's mainly clippings from news and screenshots from the internet with regards to the ongoing debate about geopolitics and sociopolitics. Fascinating political work. I wanted to show you this, not because the work is terribly interesting. Glamour, A World Problem by Alice Bailey. And these Alice Bailey works, the blue ones with the little mark there, they're fairly widely available. Sometimes they can be quite expensive, though. I just wanted to show you the claw marks on that. That was Athena. I just wanted to show you that work for that one reason, to show you what I have to deal with. I'm a bibliophile, but I've got a cat that habitually destroys books if they are left out in any way that she can destroy them. If she can get on top of them, and she will rip them apart eventually. It's only a matter of time. Oh, this was part of the original occult lot that I bought. Plotinus, Essay on the Beautiful. Yes, about basically the aesthetics and things like that. Interesting work. This is a reprint. What year was this from? This was a reprint from 1985. Again, another work that I can't edit directly from. Although I think the original is far older than that. So I'm not 100% sure. I take copyright very seriously because I don't want to get sued. Examples in Astrology by Urania. Yet another astrological work. Urania is a pseudonym, of course. And this was from the Occult Bookshop, Crystal Bay, Minnesota. Which is hysterical. I think it was... Yeah, it was $250 at the time. It'd probably be $250 now. Interesting. The Law of Success. Paramahansa Yogananda. Which I believe is also a pseudonym for a Western author. It's a little bit beaten up, but overall pretty good. There's Paramahansa himself. We've got Death and Its Problems. I believe I may have edited this work. I can't 100% remember. I'm not 100% sure. It talks about catalepsy and trances, the fear of death, how to postpone old age, memory at the moment of death, mental causes of death, death from shock, electricity, lightning, spontaneous combustion, and many other things. This is definitely a work that a lot of you would enjoy. And you probably get a copy fairly cheap. I got a lot of like 50 of those at one point. Like a lot of those that I'm showing off, they were part of the same eBay lot. Demonic and Sexual Magic by Carl Nagel. I think this one's out of print. It's another one of those Starlight works. Oh no, this was Finbar. I tried to work with them, actually, and get some of my own works edited. I think they bounced me, though, at the time. But they regret that. Servers of Light by Mark Age. Yeah, you can tell. Servers of Light is, for some reason, I don't know if it's thematic or what the fuck they were doing, but it's basically these are collections of different essays more than anything else. And again, I do not know if Mark Age still at this time exists at all. Daily Reminder, 1914. This is a diary, actually, well, a reminder book. And so this is full of, you know, it's hand inscribed, actually. I can't make most of it out, but I believe this was my great-grandmother's, if I remember correctly. I think. I can't quite remember. So, again, near and dear to me. Yes. Whoa. Yeah, baby. The Book of Azazel. More black magic. Yeah, just a reminder that people that don't like me, you know, what they're facing off against. Not a good idea. We have, oh, this is a funny one. Children in the Light, the transformed homosexuality of the New Age. The gay movement and the occult movement of like the hippie trippy era, this is 1977, so through the 70s and into the 80s at least, was pretty impregnated together, quite literally. Very, very interesting subject, and it's literally about, you know, gayness and the occult. If you can get a copy of it, Leslie Elliott, it's sort of feminist literature more than anything else, which is the irony of that, considering that it's about, you know, gay rights. Blut ist ein ganz besonders Soft by Rudolf Steiner. I like this work, although this one's in German, so I can't fucking read it. I wish I had an English copy of this particular work. Blood is an interesting fluid. Oh, these ones are paired. These are a couple more from that Masonic series. These are books 1 and 2 from the Masonic series, On the Threshold and The Entered Apprentice. And it's literally like these 5 little works are basically preparatory little squeebs for before you become an entered Mason, before you become a 3rd degree Mason. Oh yeah, now I have the cult literature. This is I had to dig this out. It was stuffed in the back, actually. Voice of Astara. Fact or fiction? Ooh. 60s UFO lore. I think, yeah, no, this one's from 89, but they predate that. From the managing director. Degree lessons continuation request. I enclose $60 for 22 lessons sent to each month. Save $17. You get a lot of that from Comifornia. The I Am Group. Unfortunately, I only have one of their particular manuscripts. This was another group. It's basically like mail order booklets and stuff like that. And then you could learn about their, you know, spiritual stuff. The Voice. Finding Spiritual Peace. The Path to Self-Enlightenment. Another Astara newsletter, actually. That was their main newsletter. This one is really fucking weird. I've read this one before. Oh. Yeah, look at this. The Birth of ASD. Now, that's some fucking crazy cover art. Yeah, I really want to worship that chick. Yeah. It's a little bit on the creepy side. Again, it's like a UFO cult, basically. Or rather, just general New Age cult in their case. Color Meditations by Owsley. Good work. Sort of New Age. Miracle Occult Power, The Way to Lifelong Happiness and Prosperity by Pike. Another Finbar work. I value those very much. I think I tried to work with Finbar, but they said no. How to Prepare Manuscripts by George Milburn. Again, these little travelers literature, it was just like monographic topics. So there would be one topic and it was teaching you how to do something or giving you like general understanding of a subject. So it could be poetry, it could be engineering, it could be forestry. They pretty much just pumped them out because, I mean, look, they're small, they're cheap to produce. You see that, yeah. E. Holloman Julius, editor, Little Blue Books. How egotistical. But they literally made thousands of these. This is an important one. That's why it's in the plastic still. This is one of the first books that I ever actually bought. I got it at the Old and Rare Bookshop in Woodstock, Vermont, and I saw it, and along with the Necronomicon, which my dad strenuously insisted I should not buy, which is why I bought it, I got those two. So technically this is the first book that I ever bought on my own. And it's got like, like drawings of like chimpanzees and stuff like that. Although I think they use a different terminology back then, this is like 100 years old, for chimpanzees, if I remember correctly. Can't remember exactly. I don't dare to open, I mean, it's so old and it's kind of flaky, so I don't really dare to open it up because, you know, I just want to keep it sort of as a trophy. This is one that I wrote. I think this is the second edition, but I can't remember. Psychedelic Spirituality. Yeah, for all your drug needs. I had fun writing this one. I've got some, oh, that's a picture actually from out in the yard of one of those what are they called? Pipe plants. The ones that are actually parasitic to tree root systems. They're not even photosynthetic. Interesting work. The first Vermont Cavalry in the Civil War. Yeah. Yeah, talk about a really, really limited subject. You've got, how many pages is this? This is like 350 pages about one cavalry regiment from Vermont. My grandfather was obsessed with military history. You can tell. If you saw my full collection, you would know. Especially the Civil War. That was his forte. God, he could rattle off facts about the Civil War, especially with regards to Vermont regiments and stuff like that. He should have been a goddamn professor. Stark Salesman's Platebook showing new and U.S. patent prize fruit trees. Yeah, this is one again from my grandfather, and it's got like all sorts of old pictures and stuff like that. This is from what year is this printed in? I don't know. I think it's from the 80s, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't know, I just like vintage stuff sometimes. Vintage colognes, vintage books, doesn't matter. Arr, the pirates. Oh, I like this work, I've been reading it. True accounts of the lives, exploits, and executions of the world's most infamous buccaneers. So, you know, you got Blackbeard and stuff like that, and it's full of fire and cannons and all of the good stuff that every male, at least, should definitely be reading. And all females, but I digress. Arr, pirates, matey. Copy of Gullivers Travels, because everyone should have one. Classic story. I feel sorry for people that when they were in school, they never got to read Gulliver's Travels, because I find it hilarious. When's this edition from? Yeah, this was from my grandfather as well, I think. This one doesn't, it's old enough that it doesn't list the actual date. So I think this edition is from the 60s, maybe, or 40s? Somewhere in that neighborhood, I'm not 100% sure. He seems to have been a fan. Unicorns, a pop-up book. This is actually from my mom. I just wanted to show it off. This is painfully 70s, but it's still pretty cute. Sickness in Hell. I wrote this in 2016. Now you can see it's a very mature book. It's basically the story of a dude named Germain who takes part in the apocalypse. Ends up going to hell at one point, actually. I won't give any spoilers because you should be getting a copy of this. I'm just saying you can get it on my books blog. I'm gonna link it in the description and at the top of the comments. Shit, cock fucking shit. A phlegmy hoarse voice was shouting from below, this time releasing a shattering blast as it hurled something across the underworks, now stepping atop it and pulling itself half out of the hole. Germain didn't realize the woman now lurching there, her enormous flabby belly flopping around and pinching itself against the steel beam. And he gets attacked by old Mrs. Pillwaff, actually. This can be seen as a rough draft of a completed work I had intended to make. It's not quite in finalized form, although I do enjoy reading, you know, this and morbid stories. So, I just wanted to show that off. And finally, History of the U.S. Marines. This is from my dad, actually. And I think I bought it for him. He read it, really liked it. No, that was the other one. There was another History of the U.S. Marines work that I bought him one time for Christmas, and he really liked it. I think it's out in the living room, though. But this was one, I believe, from his collection originally. And it's a good work by Jack Murphy, by the way. So if you can get a copy of that, if you're interested in military history. So yeah, some more of my books. Maybe I'll show off more of them. I'm not sure. That's about all. Peace out.